Episode 4 begins with gross cross-generational flirtation between two vapid characters we don't care about, but Ilana brings up a good point. Why not just kill Cersei? This entire operation is illegal and off the books, and Cersei definitely doesn't have any citizenship or protection under any nation, not even Themyscira. Amanda loves breaking the law and violating people's rights. What reason do they have for keeping her alive? To find out why she was after Ilana? Why can't that interrogation happen right here in Pokolistan? Why do they need to bring her back to the States to get this information? Wouldn't it be cheaper for Amanda to fly out there to be part of the interrogation? Rick gives Princess Peach the cold shoulder and fucks off. What actually was the point of this scene? It could be cut entirely. In fact, why didn't I cut it? Why am I even talking about this? What am I doing here? What am I doing with my life? Oh no. I'm just as bad as James Gunn! James Gunn? Guys, look! James Gunn wrote this!
Holy shit, James Gunn! Shit, it's James fucking Gunn! Oh my fuck!
Hey guys, did you know James Gunn wrote this? It's pretty cool. Next, we see John Economos being berated by Weasel's lawyer. Yep, the non-human prisoner has a lawyer. Pretty sure only humans get those. She also knows about Amanda Waller's public scandal about using human prisoners on missions and threatens to cause more trouble for Amanda if she doesn't get access to her client, who she then witnesses coming off a plane from another illegal secret mission. Well, fuck. That's it. The show should be over. We started with the premise that these prisoners could only be used because they're not human, which we've already poked several holes in that theory, so we know that isn't true. So now, the only reason this operation is staying afloat is because nobody knows she's still using prisoners who have been granted human rights like trials and lawyers and due process. But now, one of the lawyers representing one of the prisoners she is illegally using as an operative is aware that she just used him on a mission again after being publicly ordered by Congress not to do so. This scene is a joke intended to get a laugh from you because our characters got caught doing something that they're not supposed to be doing under threat of life in prison. But it's not funny, because the fact that they're not supposed to be doing this means that now that somebody knows they're doing this, somebody should stop them from doing this. This is called cause and effect. It's something good writers pay attention to. Bad writers lampshade their inability to account for it and call it comedy. Frankenstein is continuing to cuck himself by watching the bride talking to Rick from an unauthorized helicopter hovering in military airspace above a government black site prison. They should be shot down immediately, but Eric fixes that himself by freaking out on the pilots he hired to bring him here and crashing the bird himself. The lawyer proves she's a hypocrite immediately by demanding Weasel be treated as human while tossing him dog treats like an animal. The lawyer brings up Weasel's trial. Yes, the Weasel man got a trial and was convicted of killing 8 children. So she is representing him because she believes the conviction to be false, which turns out to be true somehow, but regardless, it enforces the point that Weasel, much like G.I. Robot, was given due process as an adult human man in the eyes of the law, and was convicted and sentenced for child murder. He should not be here. Rick should not have been legally able to put him on that plane at all, and this lawyer should be going straight to the news to publicly expose Amanda Waller for the 4th time for abusing human rights and circumventing international law. We finally get to Cersei's interrogation, and Amanda Waller continues to get dumber and dumber with each appearance. She makes with the jokes for a second, and then finally gets to the important question. Why did Cersei try to kill the princess? Cersei says it was to save the world, Amanda doesn't believe her, and Cersei says she can show her a vision of the future to confirm it. Okay, very interesting if true, but Flag correctly tells Amanda not to take the risk. We get a scene of the lawyer wasting her time with Weasel so that we can trigger some patented Gunn flashbacks that make no sense. A bunch of children are hanging out at the school playground unsupervised and find this horrifying rat man skulking in the bushes with his bulging murder eyes and somehow think he's adorable instead of scary and disgusting like he was clearly designed to be. Children are dumb, so I don't entirely blame them, but I do find it hard to believe they wouldn't just run away screaming. Amanda immediately goes into the cell with the dangerous psychic witch all by herself with no protection, and then we get the biggest bullshit scene in the entire show, except the show insists it's all legitimate. Cersei's vision is fucking impossible, and there's no way it's true, but it ends up being true anyway. First off, Pokolistan is supposed to be a poor, backwards, third world country. How do they have such a massive high-tech army with enough bombs and amethyst knights to start World War III? We see Gorilla Grodd behind her in this montage, but that's just bait for something in the future that we can't confirm yet, and we may never actually find out because of what happens to Ilana at the end of this show. And we don't even know if this show will get a second season or if any of these plot points will ever come up in future DCU projects. You can't just say it will make sense later. It doesn't make sense now, and that's a problem right now with this show, not some hypothetical future show. Anyway, as it stands right now, she does not have the power to overthrow the United States government, and she definitely doesn't have the power to take down the entire Justice League. Look at this fucking bullshit. Who do we have here? James Gunn's retards, Vigilante, Judo Master, and Peacemaker, Starfire, Booster Gold, maybe, Supergirl, maybe Captain Atom, Robin, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and the big three themselves, Wonder Woman, Batman, and fucking Superman. Fuck off. There is no fucking way this psycho Disney princess, no matter how many supervillain friends she has, is killing the most powerful heroes in the DC universe. She needed protection from Cersei, a powerful villain, yes, but one Diana has beaten on her own numerous times, and so have the Justice League. And she needed protection from the fucking Suicide Squad of all people, who, by the way, would have no problem taking her out themselves. This scenario is completely impossible, which would lead me to immediately believe, especially if I were someone who is supposed to be intelligent like Amanda Waller, that this vision is absolute horse shit. But we'll see how she deals with that in a bit. First, we have to talk about the abysmal world building of this brand new DCU. Is Themyscira confirmed fact or not? The news report in episode 1 wasn't sure. They said possibly real or possibly mythical. But now, Rick doesn't know if Themyscira is fact, but John says they do, and it is, but it still seems like nobody knows much about it. But apparently, with all this uncertainty surrounding the nature of the island's existence, there's a fucking college professor here who exclusively studies the Amazons and their culture. How? Has she been to the island? Do they allow female archaeologists and anthropologists and historians and whatnot to go to the island to learn more about them? And if so, why the hell is there any doubt about whether it's real? What is the reality of this world? What's real and what's not? What does the general public know or think about Wonder Woman or superheroes in general? Maybe this would all be important shit to talk about in a fucking Wonder Woman show. Why the hell are we doing this in fucking Creature Commandos? What the hell are we even doing here?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
The professor tells us that 10 years ago, Cersei warned the Amazons of a flood and she ended up being correct.
A major tsunami did indeed hit within an hour of what Cersei predicted. Those who took refuge survived. Those who did not, did not. Since then, her talents have fallen more often on the less altruistic side.
And why do you think what she just did to me isn't on the less altruistic side?
She's clairvoyant. She's not able to imagine futures. I don't see how what she showed you could be anything other than genuine.
Oh, come on.
How the fuck does she know this? Did Cersei tell her? Has McPherson been to Themyscira? Did Cersei tell the news what her fucking plans were? How do we have any of this information? Also, what the fuck do you mean she isn't able to imagine futures? Everyone can imagine the future. It's literally the only option when discussing the future. What the fuck? And what the fuck does this normal-ass human professor know about magic or telepathic vision sharing? How could she know any of this? I do not understand who this woman is or how she is a credible source of information on magic visions at all. And Amanda should not trust a word out of hers or Cersei's mouths as a highly decorated intelligence operative. Psychic visions from a criminal sorceress in federal custody are completely unreliable as a source of intelligence, and she has every reason to lie to you. But no, Amanda is a retard, and immediately orders the assassination of a foreign dignitary on complete hearsay, which Flag points out and confirms for us that no outsider has ever set foot on the island.
A place where no outsider has ever set foot because anyone who tries is killed.
What the fuck does this dyke professor study? Tumblr fanfic about a magical island full of lesbians? Where's the proof? Flag leaves after refusing Amanda's orders, and she decides to replace him with the bride. We see her and Phosphorus in the lunchroom, and Nina getting bullied by... Who the fuck is this? Kong Gorilla. Never heard of him, but I looked him up. Seems like he's a superhero. Why is he in prison? Oh, never mind. He's dead. I guess there's no consequences for killing another non-human inmate. Sorry, Kong Gorilla fans, all 4 of you. Also, I don't know who this bat vampire girl is, but if she's a gender-swapped Velcoro, I'm gonna fucking lose it. The bride gets the order to return to Pakistan to kill the princess. Flag runs home to do nothing, I guess, but apparently he didn't get the princess's number before he left because he calls the castle and gets stonewalled by the guard who answers. Then, suddenly, Hookenstein shows up to murder his ass for love. Eric should be able to kill him in one punch, but Flag has main character plot armor, so he's fine. Also, Eric is suddenly bulletproof now. Remember that montage where he wasn't? Well, fuck you for noticing. Rick stops the fight, and Eric continues to embarrass himself and us.
Oh, the bride.
Who else would I be talking about, you dilfy piece of shit?
Listen to me.
What the hell have they done to Frankenstein? Why do they do this to stoic characters who use old-world vernacular and decorum? Why do they make them speak like Zoomer fuckboy pieces of shit who've never opened a dictionary and can only relate to other people by referencing films they've watched?
No, not with this great love at stake.
Okay.
The two of you, like Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet in Titanic. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, not many people have.
Fuck Titanic. Anyway, they have a talk and Eric agrees to help Rick save the princess because he's a lovesick moron. I need a drink. On the plane, we see Weasel having a nightmare about his terrible retcon. How convenient. In fact, let's play a game with this flashback where I take a drink every time I say the word convenient or conveniently. The children are playing fetch with this horrible monstrosity and accidentally throw their ball into the abandoned school. I say abandoned, I'm pretty sure it's their actual school and it's just closed, but the doors are unlocked for some reason. How convenient! Some creepy old man happens to be walking by and sees the children clearly having a good time with the giant mongoose and decides he needs to do something about it. How convenient! The teacher's desk is also unlocked and has their graded papers and a bottle of booze in it, unprotected. How convenient! The kids take the booze and throw their ball, and it happens to go downstairs into the dangerous boiler room. How fucking convenient! The old man runs back to his cabin in the woods, which is conveniently close to the school, how fucking creepy, and grabs a shotgun while calling the police to tell them there's a monster taking the children into the school. The kids conveniently find some matches to play with their alcohol and paper balls, and conveniently land the alcohol and merches in the fire and paper in the same place all at once. How convenient. The old man shows up right when the Weasel is on top of the children, looking conveniently spoopy, and decides to shoot his shotgun right at the conveniently placed fuel tank that conveniently pours more fuel on the fire and makes the whole school go kapow, and everyone dies. How convenient. Whew. Okay, I did a time jump and sobered up. Where was I? Oh yes, questions. Questions abound. Why are the kids allowed to be here after school? Where are their parents? Who is this random old man who lives within 100 yards of the school? Why is the school unlocked? Why is the desk unlocked? What elementary school teacher is drinking during the day? Why was the basement unlocked? Why, and how did any of this shit happen? This is not just convenient. This is not just contrived. This is impossible. Just like it's impossible that anybody survived that explosion. But Weasel did, and so did this kid, because we need them to suffer more for our sympathy porn. Then, the cops see Weasel looking ominous with a kid in his mouth and decide, he's got a kid! Let's shoot at the child! This takes place in a universe where all cops are trigger-happy morons and open fire first thing at every call no matter the circumstances. Guns solve everything, all the time! I say this to make it clear that that is not reflective of reality if there are any ACAB psychopaths watching this. Weasel tries to escape the burning school and gets met at the front entrance by our maniac cops who continue to shoot and injure him while he runs towards them, clearly trying to get the girl to safety. They keep shooting at the little girl till Weasel drops her. Then, they fucking hold him down and arrest him while they leave the little girl to burn to death. Fuck that innocent child. This monster needs to face justice. What the fuck am I even watching anymore? Holy crap. Man, you couldn't have laid it on any thicker there, James. Feel bad for Weasel. The show demands it. It doesn't earn it at all, it just tries to pander to the sensitive people out there who love cute animals, hate cops, and don't understand how anything in physical reality or probability works at all. This is how fucking dumb James Gunn thinks you are. Eat his slop and rejoice! That's it for episode 4. Tune in next week if you want to get alcohol poisoning with me. Bye-bye!